Hi, I am currently sat on the floor of my study where I've been painting, and I decided to do a little quick airing of some thoughts because I can, mostly. Um, Today the news has broken that Sean Connery has died, and quite a lot of people are having opinions about this, let's say. Some people are sad, some people, like me, have very mixed feelings about it. Sean Connery, for those of you who somehow don't know, was the star of the original James Bond films. He was in quite a few of them. I can't remember how many off the top of my head, someone can probably Google it. And other significant pop culture events. He was Henry Jones Sr. in Indiana Jones 3. He was in a whole bunch of manly men do man things like behead each other and do stuff on submarines, and I don't know, was he in Escape from Alcatraz, or am I thinking of someone else? Anyway, whatever. He was kind of a big deal. He was a Scottish actor. He was also an advocate of domestic abuse, not against domestic abuse, for domestic abuse. This information is pretty easily Googleable, and you can see the clips of him on at least one TV show saying that, yeah, it's fine to hit your wife if she's being a bit unreasonable. This is disappointing for a number of reasons. Not only because he thought this in the first place, but because he was given multiple opportunities over the last few decades to revise his stance and think about it and take it back, but he did not. He lost his marbles and died before he was able to reconstruct his opinion of women and how violence works in domestic relationships. And that's sad. Like, I'm sad he didn't have the opportunity to become a better person. But being as he lived to, how the fuck old he was, in his 90s, without changing his mind, I feel reasonably confident saying that he was probably never going to. As I understand it, quite a lot of his family were estranged from him due to the fact that he used to beat them up. And I absolutely do not think it is disrespectful for, on the day someone died, to say, can we not celebrate this man? He used to beat women and publicly and proudly spoke about how happy he was and how acceptable it was to beat women. So I'm going around the internet at the moment on all of my friends' posts who are saying R.I.P. Sean Connery, saying, yes, good riddance to known advocate of domestic violence Sean Connery. Now, might sound a bit harsh, because yeah, this man was a huge part of a lot of people's childhoods and formed a lot of their opinions of the world, but it's not your fault if you didn't know that Sean Connery was an unrepentant domestic abuser. It means that you don't follow any kind of feminist or women's issues news, because it was all over the place a few years ago, but you know, it's completely forgivable to have missed that. However, in the now being told that yes, Sean Connery proudly advocated hitting women, if you still think, oh well, I'm still sad because he made some films I like and I don't think his personal life should feature into it, I am judging you. Just because someone has created art or culture that you have enjoyed does not necessarily mean they themselves are worth celebrating. There is a huge body of work on a concept of death of the artist, whereby, I'm going to bodge this explanation, but people say that art should be allowed to stand by itself and the creator's intent and personality should not factor into your enjoyment of that. It's a complex issue, but any content cannot be divorced from the minds of the people who made it, because that is what's informed the art, that is where they have come from when they have created this thing that you're enjoying. Sean Connery acting in those Bond films, which I will get on to in and of themselves in a moment, Sean Connery acting in those Bond films was a domestic abuser. His portrayal of James Bond, the misogynistic, rapey, morally ambiguous super spy was played by a domestic abuser, and that has informed the performances of that character ever since. I've not read any of the original James Bond novels. I don't know how true his portrayal was to the books. I'm told not very, but adaptation is a thing that happens. So let's just take a quick look at James Bond himself. James Bond, rapey misogynist, taught an entire generation of young boys that consent is not as important as you think it is. If you just slam a woman against a wall and kiss her, even though she might have not expressed any interest towards you until that point, you know, it's alright, she'll get into it eventually. That's what James Bond taught a lot of people. This is a hugely applauded part of our culture, these films and the legacy of them. And if you have enjoyed them uncritically up to this moment, you know, that's fine. But now you get to watch those films and enjoy Sean Connery's body of work with the same knowledge that his victims did. That this man was capable of beating someone who loved and relied on him because he couldn't use his words to de-escalate a situation. Some people excuse it as a generational thing. Sean Connery was an old dude, yeah, sure. Yes, it was more common when he was a young man that women were treated as property. But not everyone of Sean Connery's generation has come out in later life and said, yeah, no, it's still fine, you can still beat women. Quite a lot of people never did it in the first place. He doesn't get a free pass for being old. Yeah, people can grow, people can change their minds, people can apologise, something that he never did. Quite a lot of modern domestic abusers and younger people who have been outed in the media as domestic abusers have since seen the error of their ways and reconstructed themselves from that. Eminem is one particular example of someone who has said and done problematic things in their time, and he is constantly learning and constantly reconstructing himself and understanding things in a better context. A lot of Eminem's dysfunction is a symptom of the place, time and social class in which he grew up. It's not his fault, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't take responsibility for it, which he does. And no one's perfect. He's still got some shitty ass opinions, but like, respect to the guy for trying. Sean Connery never changed. In fact, he just got older and saltier and eventually got shuffled out of the public eye, presumably by his agent or publicist, who was like, you need to stop talking now. So that's that. So when you think about Sean Connery and when you watch James Bond now, you get to know that he was a domestic abuser and he thought it was okay to beat his wife. And if you continue posting things on Facebook, touching tributes towards this man, what you are saying to victims of domestic abuse who you may know, and there are quite a lot of us out there, you may not know about it, but what you are saying is, it's okay to hit your wife if you made some films I enjoy. And this goes back to what I was saying the other day about having to walk into a space where you know that nobody is on your side. And this is one of those. This isn't even a microaggression. This is a pretty fucking big aggression, saying it's alright to abuse your wife if you made something I enjoy. It's like saying it's okay to assault a woman if you're good at swimming. That is not a false equivalence. That is the attitude that grows out of this. James Bond normalised rape culture, and Sean Connery was an advocate for beating your wife when she disagrees with you. I am not citing my sources in this because you're all perfectly capable of Googling the words Sean Connery domestic abuse. Clips are on YouTube. Deconstructions of James Bond as a misogynistic arsehole are all over the internet. Very easy to find. If you're interested in that, go find them. Yeah, that's it. And if by watching this you feel like I have ruined James Bond and Sean Connery for you, I haven't. Sean Connery did that. Sean Connery and the people who wrote and scripted James Bond ruined James Bond for you. I didn't. I just made you aware of it. So there we go. That's it for today. I'm done being a feminist buzzkill for now. I will probably be back with more rants and opinion pieces at some point soon, because apparently I have a lot of things to say. And some people seem to enjoy listening to me say them, or at least find value in them, so I'm going to keep doing it, even if only one person watches and learns something and is given something to think about, then it's fucking worth it. Anyway, bye!